NBC Sports Washington's NFL Combine preview continues with another off-the-radar option for the Redskins in Houston's Isaiah Johnson, one of the fastest cornerbacks in the 2019 draft class. Also, read our profile on Kansas State offensive lineman and potential first-round selection Dalton Risner, and check back for more Combine coverage throughout the week. Just a heads up for draft prospects and NFL wide receivers. No matter what cornerback Isaiah Jackson says on the field, it's nothing personal. The University of Houston product played his senior season with a mindset mimicked from Pro Bowl talents Richard Sherman and Jalen Ramsey. Let's talk. Not just for junk, fine, maybe a little bit to battle. If we're going back and forth during a game, it's not because I hate you as a person or dislike you. The boundary corner with speed and tackling chops told NBC Sports Washington. Not, we're just competing head-to-head. After the game, I'll shake your hand, no matter what, because I'm out there to compete. That's what I like. If anything, Johnson, polite by nature, sees his verbal engagement as lending help. I think that brings out another edge for somebody else. I don't like people that don't go and give everything they have. No, I want your best. If I have to talk to you and treat you like you're not that good to get out your best, I'm going to do that. Nobody cares about the 6'2" corner from South Central Texas if his game were all had and no cattle. Johnson, a possible fourth-round option, started 10 of 11 games for Houston in 2018 and led the Cougars with 7 passes defended. Similar to Redskins cornerback Quinton Dunbar, Johnson switched from receiver to those covering pass catchers, though he made a move before his junior season. Over the next 2 seasons, he developed into one of college football's fastest cornerbacks. That speed element is something Washington's plotting defense requires in the secondary and at all 3 levels. Any coaching staff desires players that wake up ready to compete, making Johnson one to consider. Upon moving to the defensive side, Johnson found a football idol in Sherman, a 3-time All-Pro selection known for his excellent cover skills and animated nature. I really appreciated the game of Richard Sherman, Johnson said. I love the way he plays with his mind, his technique, the way he makes the defense work for him. Those observations helped solidify Johnson's on-field persona. I love to compete. That's my nature, Johnson said. I do add the talking aspect concept. I like to mess with people's heads just a little bit. He also likes to track down ball carriers with his speed and tackling ability. Johnson's 40 time should land in the 4.38 to 4.44 range, though the off-season training focused less on any specific number and more about that initial burst from the blocks. For me, I focus specifically on the start because my back end will make up for it with top-end speed and my stride, said the former high school track standout. For me, I needed to focus more on the beginning of the 40, how to run it, the correct steps. Don't assume the track background means Johnson shies away from contact. Over 70% of his 66 tackles last season were solo. Me putting on weight and learning how to tackle in college, especially my senior year, it built my confidence up to make those tackles in the open field and do what's necessary to help the defense, Johnson said. I know everybody is going to try to run you over or juke you. It's just about leverage for me. It's conceivable some teams may consider him at safety because of his size and tackling, though Johnson primarily played outside corner at Houston. The Redskins have significant safety concerns, but also unsettled depth behind starting corners Josh Norman and Dunbar. Considering Johnson's limited experience on the defensive side, the up-close examination at Combine offers an excellent opportunity to show off his development. Johnson promises not to overthink expectations for the week and rather just focus on the chance to participate in an event he's dreamed about since elementary school. Most of all, just like during games, Johnson is looking forward to the talking. To be out there and show people what you can do, show them the real you with the interviews and meeting different people and building relationships there, Johnson said. I think that's the biggest part for me. If all goes well at the Combine, NFL draft evaluators will be talking plenty about the receiver turned corner because they like his game. Our Redskins Talk podcast crew will be in Indianapolis all week for the 2019 NFL Scouting Combine and will be streaming a live show every day. Click here to learn more about how to watch. More Redskins news. Dallas Cowboys defensive end Randy Gregory has been suspended indefinitely for violating the NFL's substance abuse policy, the fourth time the troubled player has been banned by the league. The suspension announced Tuesday comes about 7 months after Gregory was reinstated by Commissioner Roger Goodell following a lengthy process aimed at reviving his career. Gregory missed 30 of the 32 games over 2 seasons as a result of his first 3 suspensions. The 60th overall pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, Gregory was suspended 2 separate times in 2016, resulting in a total of 14 missed games. A year later, he was absent for the entire 2017 season after receiving a full-year suspension. Gregory had his best year in 2018, posting career highs with 6 sacks and 14 games. He was reinstated just before the start of training camp last year and was active for the season opener. There's no guarantee the 26-year-old Gregory will be reinstated again should he try. His previous suspension was a year-long ban, and Gregory waited several months to apply for reinstatement in hopes of improving his chances. 2019 had the chance to be a crucial year for Gregory, as his contract has him set up to be a free agent following the 2019 season. Now, his future rests in the hands of the NFL. Our Redskins Talk podcast crew will be in Indianapolis all week for the 2019 NFL Scouting Combine and will be streaming a live show every day. Click here to learn more about how to watch. NBC Sports Washington's Ryan Homler contributed to this story. More NFL news. The Redskins Talk podcast took a look at how much it had cost the Redskins to acquire Antonio Brown, and whether the move would be worthwhile. Click play in the embedded podcast player below to listen to the entire podcast. The Redskins need an offensive playmaker. Anybody that watched many Washington games in 2017 saw that glaring need, particularly at the receiver position. And now, Antonio Brown is absolutely available. The Steelers' wideout is probably the best receiver in football. He has elite speed, great hands and off-the-charts athleticism. In the past 6 years, he's had at least 100 catches and 1,200 yards every season. He's made the Pro Bowl 6 years straight, and he's been named All-Pro 4 times in that span. There is zero question about Brown's talent. Zero. He's elite. The questions come from what drove a big enough wedge between Brown and Pittsburgh that he's demanded a trade, and that the Steelers have agreed to try. Beyond that, the more pressing question for the rest of the NFL is where Brown will end up. NBC Sports' Peter King suggested the Redskins could be a landing spot for Brown. Could it be? King wrote, "A smart guy in the league told me the other day, look for the desperate teams with Brown. What team is more desperate than Washington, which is hemorrhaging fans, has no idea who the 2019 quarterback will be, has no idea who the 2020 coach will be, hasn't won a playoff game in 14 years, and has an embattled owner searching for anything that will get his team out of the muck and mire of mediocrity?" This also fits the Pittsburgh plan of wanting to send Brown out of the AFC. The problem, obviously, would be finding a quarterback to get the ball to Brown. But Washington's a team that loves to win the offseason and hasn't done so in a while. I'd be surprised if Bruce Allen and Kevin Colbert don't talk about Brown. Inside the Beltway, folks want to know if Brown's availability is the exact answer to the Redskins' lack of playmakers. A case can be made either way. The case for the Redskins trading for Antonio Brown. Brown had 104 catches for 1,297 yards with 15 touchdowns last season. The Redskins' top 3 receivers, Josh Doctson, Jamison Crowder and Maurice Harris, had 101 catches for 1,224 yards and 4 touchdowns last season. Combined, Washington needs a big play wideout desperately. And don't forget, Crowder could leave the team when free agency opens in a few weeks. With 4 selections in the top 100, the Skins have a decent arsenal of valuable draft picks to offer in a trade. Additionally, the Burgundy and Gold have a bunch of late-round picks they could use to sweeten a trade offer. That includes 3 fifth-round picks and 2 seventh-round picks. Keep in mind, however, the Skins don't have a 4th-round selection. Word is the Steelers are being selective about what teams they will talk about trading Brown. Excluded from discussions will be teams in the AFC North and certainly the New England Patriots. As the Steelers' possible trade partners shrink, maybe the Redskins can make a reasonable offer of a 2nd and 3rd round pick. Washington cannot offer a first, the team just has too many holes, but getting Brown and still having a 3rd round selection would be a tremendous coup for Bruce Allen. Brown wants big chunks of his remaining contract converted to guaranteed money. Washington is hard up against the salary cap, and to even entertain a move for Brown would require significant cap relief. That would likely come in the form of releasing numerous players and restructuring others. But, in an odd way, the Redskins could be better off moving Brown's cash to a signing bonus. It would give Brown the guarantees he wants, and allow Washington to spread that money out over the remainder of the contract. It's a long shot, but it's not impossible. Brown would be a tremendous talent upgrade if this scenario somehow unfolds. The case against trading for Antonio Brown: everything you just read above. It's damn near impossible. Pittsburgh will want a 1st-round pick for Brown. The Redskins cannot give up a 1st-rounder for a receiver that's going to be 31 this fall. Washington needs a lot of help all over the field, and using that cap space and draft capital on one player does not make sense. Remember the trade for Robert Griffin III, combined with the $36 million salary cap penalty sent down from the NFL in 2012 that set the organization back for years. Giving up draft picks for Brown, combined with Alex Smith's remaining $40 million on the salary cap, could spell the same doom. Beyond that, there are serious questions about Brown the teammate. Not his work ethic, and not his ability, but his temperament and actions inside the locker room. The volatile wideout wore out his welcome with one of the best franchises in the history of professional sports. What will Brown's act look like in DC? The team has not handled high-profile, high-drama talent particularly well over the last 2 decades. Not to mention, who is going to throw Brown the ball? All receivers like to get the football, and Brown might not realize how good he did playing with Ben Roethlisberger. For all of his personality faults, Roethlisberger puts his receivers in position to make plays. Always. Will that happen with Colt McCoy and whatever other QBs the Redskins bring in for 2019? Making a flash move just for the sake of a flash move is a terrible idea. Not to mention the Redskins don't have anywhere close to the cap room needed to acquire Brown. Sure, Brown is an elite talent, but Redskins fans looking for long-term franchise success should shut this conversation down before it begins. More Redskins news.